Hi, I'm Skye. I'd like to share the beginning of my journey of becoming a mediator of collaboration. In a recent class project of creating a documentary, the students of my new entrance in Year 1 class learned how to be safe when coming to school and going back home, and went through an inquiry process of finding out how we could help the students of our school be safer. Through this project, I provided many opportunities, or well I thought, for the students to take part in using technology for its informative, communicative and learning purposes. They were emailing experts like police officers and the walking school bus, writing a survey on Google Forms, generating a QR code for the respondents to use to access the survey, watching other documentaries about road and car safety, videoing and recording voices on iPads and on a MacBook. This project allowed them to become problem solvers of a real world, their school community. However, they were only dipping their toes in the various technology. And also, the project was heavily dependent on myself, the teacher. There were many factors that restricted collaboration in this task. There was a deadline. It needed to be a great and captivating documentary, as it would be shared and presented with our whānau and friends. It was my first time using an editing tool. I was also worried that my students were too young, that when I allowed students to work in groups, they may not film properly, the audio recording will be muffled, they may accidentally break the device, and was obviously finding it difficult to trust the students with the devices, which then led to myself being the one who chose which students did what, asked them to contribute in a way that I thought they may do well, or would work with me one-on-one. This flowchart, provided by ITL Research in 2012, shows that the level of collaboration in this documentary project was at the very first step, as my students were not required to work in pairs or groups, so they were at level 1 in collaboration. As Frey states, once students have had the opportunity to watch a teacher complete the operation several times and ask clarifying questions about it, they are now ready to assume shared responsibility for the task with the teacher. This is a critical phase of the lesson, and skipping it is bound to result in errors, frustration, and classroom management problems. Which makes sense, because my students were showing frustration, as this was their first time using those tools in those ways, as it was mine, and I was getting frustrated as well watching my students struggle. My students needed to have the shared understanding built by teacher modelling, opportunities to explore, giving things a go, asking lots of questions. My students were cooperating with me rather than with each other. They participated in the project actively and contributed to this process, and when they were, I'd convinced myself that they were collaborating. Blanca and Sterling highlights the importance of the teacher being a mediator in the process to support the collaboration between the students to come to a shared conclusion. To move my students from being participators to collaborators, I came up with a few innovations to support my students as a collaboration mediator by teaching, modelling, and facilitating the appropriate skills. They are storytelling, role-playing, and debating. The first of the 3 innovative tasks that could help improve collaboration in my class would be storytelling, structured through positive goal interdependence, which Johnson, and Anderson defines as requiring students to work jointly on an assignment to produce a single product or be rewarded on the basis of the performance of all members. Students will work in small groups and share ideas to build the foundations of a story, with a set of parts of a story cards, with the prompts on each card to help them draw a picture in their minds and give them a responsibility to collaborate by contributing ideas. Each student will say a sentence after another to create a story. while recording their voices on an interactive whiteboard app such as Explain Everything. And when recorded, drawings or images can be manipulated to animate their story. Another digital and collaborative innovation to support groups of students to develop a shared conclusion is filming a role-play using the camera feature on iPads. When role-playing, students will collaborate with each other in each of their roles in many ways, such as giving each other appropriate personal space, timing between the dialogues and actions, and so on. Druckmann and Ebner states that role-playing gives those role-players opportunities to learn how to balance the competitive desire against the cooperative desire, as negotiation skills can be taught through the role-play. The video can be watched by the students to evaluate their collaborative practices with a checklist and give feedback to their peers. The final innovation was grouping those who share the same opinions together to argue their point. Collaboration can be facilitated effectively through argumentation-based learning, as stated by Emilsvoet, Andresen, and Kanselar. And they also highlight the importance to have a visual tool for students to see their shared goal. A mind mapping tool such as Poplet may help students display their ideas visually. As the students add to the mind map, they will exchange their views and values and have deeper understandings of their content, of each other, and therefore be able to develop skills in order to work in collaboration, such as being able to negotiate as they would in the two previous innovations. As I have decided to implement this innovation in my new entrant class to facilitate collaboration, as it supports the students from the beginning by grouping those who are alike or share the same opinions. In my experience with working with young learners, sometimes they find it difficult to voice out their opinions and accept other opinions. My plan is to begin with the class, the whole class, by creating a classroom atmosphere which is positive and accepting, creating a class hand signal to contribute to the class discussions as they agree or disagree, have quick and fun sessions of dividing the class or a group with a would you rather question, such as would you rather fly or be invisible? Exposing them to a mind mapping tool such as Poplet and modelling the use of it through various ways in curriculum areas. That'll be how I'll begin to implement this digital and collaborative innovation. I hope to see my students being able to work together to positively argue their point, question others, negotiate, and persuade. I hope to see myself being a mediator of collaboration by modelling and providing many examples, experiences, and opportunities for students to fail, to learn.